The master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his information and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he does, leaving others to decide whether he is working or playing. To him, he's always doing both. This is a quote from the famous author James Michener, who actually lived in Bucks County, where I live. And a friend of mine sent this to me and asked me what I think. There's a lot in this. It's a very high ideal. We all have expressions of this in our life, and virtually everyone is not a pure expression of this. It would be really hard to be a full expression of this. So what I think about this is that on one hand, it's an expression of something really beautiful. It's an ideal that is worth us aspiring towards, especially in certain areas of our life. And we should not hold ourselves to this standard, because that can be put us in a very self-judging place that can be more hurtful than beneficial. You see, where I see this very often is when it comes to religious people. Very often, a person who is raised in religion and lives a certain way has not actually decided that they are going to be this, even though it's difficult and it's a big commitment. But they are doing what they do, the different religious things that they do, because this is what they know, and it has become who they are. And truly, it is no longer a choice between work or play. This is who I am. It's work and play merged into one. I would never do otherwise. And in some respect, that is my role, the role I play as a rabbi. It's not as if I went to rabbinical school in order to develop a career as being a rabbi. My parents sent me to yeshiva to be a Jew and to learn about Judaism, first and foremost, to be a value-based person. And at a later time, I'll figure out exactly how I'm going to make a living. It so happens that this passion is something that I have the ability to reach out to others with. And so it is in a certain way, work and play. It is, what I've learned, who I am, and I'm simply sharing who I am with other people. At the same time, there are many different times and many different situations which are not comfortable, which are not natural, where I am sharing who I am, but not in the most comfortable of ways, in the most natural of environments. And in those cases, it does feel much more like work than it does like play. And that is the nature of things. However, I still do not stop doing what I'm doing, because even though it may feel like work, that doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that I am not on that purely selfless level where something that is unnatural to me doesn't bother me, because I'm so consumed in the service of the other. And that is the way we are as human beings. And so we have to understand that about ourselves and accept how we are, and at the same time aspire. And sometimes doing the right thing will mean that we are working, as opposed to, it will not feel like play, it will feel like work. It may feel like a burden. And that doesn't mean we should not do it. There is this sentiment in the world today that you should do what you love. Now, it would be great. It's great when we spend most of our time doing what we love. But I think that our value system should not be doing what we love. It should be doing what we were put in this world to do, what we were gifted to be able to do, where we can serve best. And more often or less often, it will not be something that I love. It will not be in the context of the way I love to do it. But this is the way I am being called upon to do it. And that actually is the ultimate level of service. So wouldn't it be wonderful if my work and play were merged together where you couldn't tell which one was which? Yes. Is it sometimes that way? Yes. Is it always that way? No. I don't expect it to be. I aspire, whenever it feels like work, to investigate. Why does it feel like work? Right? Where is this coming from? And almost always at the core, it comes from me being less consumed in the other, whatever service I am providing, and a little bit more consumed in myself. And sometimes that's simply because when what I'm doing is challenging myself more, myself shows up more and gets more in the way. That's okay. The more I become aware of it, the more I can diminish it, and the more my work does merge a little bit more with play. And if it doesn't, it's just fine too.